Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about a new update on Max Verstappen's contract as well as comments that have been made about Red Bull's car. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram and X at James's Pit Lane. I'll leave links in the description. But let's jump straight into the video. Now, at the start of the season, Red Bull showed promise. At the season opener in Melbourne, Isaac Hadjar qualified in P3, and while Max Verstappen crashed in qualifying and started at the back of the grid for the race, he recovered to 6th place. So the Red Bull looked like a car that could compete for 2nd place in the constructors' standings. But things haven't gone well for Red Bull since Australia. At the Chinese and Japanese Grand Prix, Red Bull were nowhere and looked very much like a midfield team, battling Haas and Alpine. And minimum points have been scored. And well, when you look at the constructors' standings, Red Bull are behind Haas and Alpine in the standings. So there's a huge amount of work for Red Bull to do. Now, at the latest Grand Prix in Japan, Max Verstappen finished in 8th, while Isaac Hadjar ended up in 12th, and Hadjar has claimed that his Red Bull F1 car wasn't drivable to the point that it was dangerous in the Japanese Grand Prix. Basically, Hadjar said on Canal Plus, as quoted by motorsport.com, "We didn't have good pace anyway, that was expected, but it was worse than earlier in the weekend. It was really undrivable. It even was dangerous, so that was tricky. The only positive right now is that I can drive the car fast, but we have no lead on how we can make the car fast." Now, as we know, with the Bahrain and Saudi Arabian Grand Prix being cancelled in April, there will be no racing during the month, so perhaps it's a month that Red Bull can use to try and get on top of things, find out what's going wrong to make things easier later on in the season. At the same time though, the beginning of Formula 1's unplanned April gap marks the start of a crucial few weeks and months for Verstappen. Now, as we know, Verstappen is not happy with the racing created by the new 2026 rules, with him having likened it to Mario Kart. And well, since these new engine rules have been introduced in 2026, the prospect of Verstappen quitting F1, or at least pausing his Grand Prix racing career, has grown. Now, Verstappen only admitted he has a choice to make about staying in F1 several times during the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. However, Dutch journalist Eric van Haren reported the last time Max Verstappen finished outside the top 5 3 times in a row, that was 9 years ago. Verstappen is seriously considering an F1 retirement after 2026 due to the current regulations. Crucial period ahead for him, Red Bull and F1's top tier. Now, following this, some new details about Verstappen's contract have emerged. Now, with Red Bull, he's contracted with the team until 2028. But the race say there's no scenario in which he will continue racing in F1 to that time if he decides he does not want to, with the race saying it will not come to a contract buyout though. Verstappen has exit clauses in his contract that give him an out based on Red Bull's competitiveness. That was the centre of speculation last year around a possible Verstappen switch to Mercedes. Then Verstappen could have left if he was not in the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship by the summer break. For 2026 though, this is understood to be different. If Verstappen is not in the top 2 by the date in the contract, he can leave. This was presumably stipulated based on the 2026 rules to give Verstappen the option to hunt for a better seat in 2027 depending on the competitive order. Now, Verstappen currently sits 9th in the drivers' standings with 12 points, 51 points behind 2nd placed George Russell. And well, if Red Bull cannot close the gap to Mercedes, I think it's very unlikely that Verstappen is going to get in to the top 2. I know Verstappen pretty much pulled off the impossible last year when he pulled back that 100-point gap to the McLarens. However, things are different this year. The gap between Mercedes and Red Bull is really big. And the race say, given Mercedes' strong start to the season, its drivers are already moving clear at the top of the table, and Red Bull struggles with its car and adapting to running its own engine for the first time, it's extremely likely Verstappen will have a clear contractual route to leave Red Bull this year. Furthermore, it's understood that Verstappen does not need to notify Red Bull of his decision until October, so he also has plenty of time to see what changes, not just in Red Bull's competitive situation, but with F1's new rule set. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.